Hey, Daryl here. This is my daily devotional. What does God have to do to prove himself to his people? Are you a grumbler? 6 times in the text we're looking at today, the word grumbling is used. Now, I think to know that God knows that I'm grumbling against him, I think I would be quite embarrassed. I mean, my goodness, God just miraculously released them from bondage. God just miraculously saved them from the Egyptian army, drowning them all in the Red Sea. They just finished singing a great song of praise and worship that exalted God for the miracle of the Egyptian army drowning and they passing through the Red Sea on dry land. But now they've gone further in their journey, and they've gone 3 days without water. And now they're saying, "What have you done, Moses and Aaron? You're leading us out here for us to die of thirst." And they grumble. How short is the memory of the child of God? Listen, let me read some. I am in Exodus 15 and Exodus 16. And I'm going to begin reading here at about verse 22. For 3 days they traveled in the desert without finding water. When they came to Marah, they could not drink its water, because it was bitter. This is why the people called it Marah. So the people grumbled against Moses, saying, "What are we to drink?" And so Moses cried out to the Lord, and the Lord showed him a piece of wood. He threw it into the water, and the water became sweet. There the Lord made a decree and a law for them, and there he tested them. He said, "If you listen carefully to the voice of the Lord your God and do what is right in his eyes, if you pay attention to his commands and keep his decrees, I will not bring on you any of the diseases I brought on the Egyptians, for I am the Lord who heals you." God again miraculously provided them water. The water at Marah was bitter. God told Moses, "Throw this piece of wood in it and it'll make it sweet." And it did. Did that stop their grumbling? Why, no. Going on. Now they're in the desert. And the whole community is grumbling against Moses and Aaron. If the Israelites said to them, "If only we had died by the Lord's hand in Egypt. There we sat around pots of meat and ate all the food we wanted." Yeah, now they're hungry. They got the water. Now they're hungry. And so this is when God brings them the miracle of the quail and the manna. Then the Lord said to Moses, "I will rain down bread from heaven for you. The people are to go out each day and gather enough for that day. In this way I say, I'll test them and see whether they follow my instructions." And they had to keep the manna for just 1 day. If they kept it the next day, it would spoil and have maggots in it. In other words, they needed to trust God every day. Except on that 6th day, they had to gather twice as much, because there'd be no manna on the 7th day, the Sabbath day. And there they would have enough left over from the previous day. But still, some of them went out looking for it anyway, and they grumbled because there wasn't any on the 7th day. He just said, "If you'll follow my commandments and keep my decrees, all this is going to be okay." But they were still not listening to God. And so this is the embarrassing part to me, to know that God knows we're grumbling. It's verse 7. "And in the morning you will see the glory of the Lord, because he has heard your grumbling against him. Who are we that you should grumble against us?" He has heard your grumbling. He has heard your grumbling. I don't want God to hear my grumbling spirit. I want him to see my spirit of faith, not my grumbling spirit. He goes on and says in verse 8, he has heard your grumbling. Once again, you are not grumbling against us, but you're grumbling against the Lord, Moses says. Then Moses told Aaron, say to the entire Israelite community, come before the Lord, for he has, once again it says, heard your grumbling. Do you have a grumbling spirit against maybe your church? Maybe grumbling against your pastor? Just like Moses said, they're not grumbling against us, Aaron. They're grumbling against the Lord. God said, obey my commands and decrees, and I will take care of you. God bless you. Good day.